Hi there, this is Callum, e-learning support officer for the business school. This is the second in a short series of two videos just demonstrating how we set up a Turnitin assignment in Moodle. Now this video continues straight on from the last video where we began the setup and we did the basic settings. We're now moving on to the Turnitin advanced options. Now the Turnitin advanced options, they're not actually advanced in any kind of way, it's just that they're more specific to Turnitin, so there's nothing difficult about them. The first one we have to set is to allow late submissions or not. Now we can say yes or no whether we want to allow late submissions. One thing to be aware of with late submissions is that if, for example, a student has already submitted a draft of their document to be checked by the originality report, then when it comes to due date and Turnitin takes the submissions, it will take that draft as a submission and block them from uploading something else. It's only that they can, this late submissions option only allows them to submit late if they haven't submitted anything previously. That's the first one of the little bits of here to be aware of. Next up we have our report generation speed. Now we have three options. First, generate report immediately, first report is final. What that means is that the student submits and then immediately they get the originality report back. However, they can't resubmit and get another one. Generate reports immediately and reports can be overwritten until the due date. What that means is that for the period of time between the start date of the assignment and the due date of the assignment, the students can submit, get an originality report back, and then they can resubmit and get another originality report back. However, it's not as easy as they can just resubmit and get lots of originality reports and tweak the document, as would be tempting to do. They can only get one report every 24 hours. So if, for example, they have 2 weeks, they'll have 14 attempts at getting an originality report. And then finally we have the reports on due date, which means they submit, they don't get originality report back, but on the due date it does give it back to them. So a standard one that people tend to use is reports can be overwritten until the due date. We then have the storage of student papers, which has no repository or standard repository. If you set it to standard repository, Turnitin will take the document, put it in its repository, and then when other students submit documents, it will check against it. If we say no repository, it won't put it into that repository. Now, no repository can be quite good if they're, for example, writing a draft of a document, which they're then going to resubmit in another Turnitin assignment, then that's fine. One thing to note there, Moodle won't, or Turnitin won't check documents from Turnitin assignments that are within the same Moodle page. So if you have two Turnitin assignments within your same Moodle area, then it won't check them off against each other. So just one to quickly be aware of there. I'll set that to standard repository. We can choose whether we want to check in student papers, the internet, journals and periodicals. These are really at your discretion, depending on the subject that you're teaching. You'll have reasons for or against checking against these different elements. We then have our options for whether we want to exclude the bibliography or exclude quoted material, and then exclude small matches. So if we exclude the bibliography, it won't check any of the references against, or it won't check the actual writing of the references against Turnitin. You'll have your reasons for not doing that, and it won't check the quoted material. These can be used to kind of refine that originality report. So if it's coming up very high and we have these off, or if it comes up very high and we have these on, then switching them off can kind of bring that down and refine it a little bit. Once you set up this Turnitin assignment, you won't be able to come back and change these three here. It stops you from changing them, but you can change it once you get into the document reader from Turnitin. We can exclude small matches, so if we want to say 10 words, or you can set to a percentage as well, 1%. What that will do, if there's lots of little bits which are coming up as copied, then it won't take them and it will give you a much more rounded overall percentage of plagiarism, because it will only check and it will look out for big paragraphs and things like that. Okay, so below that we have our common module settings, which are standard to Moodle, but I just want to save and return to course. And once that saves, it does a little synchronization of data with Turnitin. It goes away to Turnitin, sets up on Turnitin, comes back and it says right now it's linked, so it's linked with the external Turnitin service. If I scroll down, we've then got our demo assignment, which is what the student sees and what they click on to submit. It's also in this aggregated list of Turnitin assignments here as well. The last thing we want to do is quickly set the date. So if we click on this pen along beside the date, then you can change the date here. And then once you change the date, you just submit. And that's how we set up our Turnitin assignment.